Hi, this is Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and today we're going to take a look at a super budget power supply from CIT, the ATV 500 Pro. Keep watching to find out more. Sorry, I'm trying to keep a straight face on this one. This is the CIT ATV 500 Watt Pro. Now this is an entry-level power supply from the people over at CIT. Now this hasn't been sent to me for review. I actually did buy this out of my own money from Amazon, and I'll post some screenshots so you can see that it is all legit, and I have actually bought it myself. Now most of you who've seen the CIT brand are probably thinking, oh my god, what is he doing? Now CIT are relatively well known for very, very inexpensive cases and power supplies. A lot of system integrators, and certainly if you go to eBay, a lot of the sort of system resellers will grab a CIT case and power supply, resell an old Dell PC, something like that, and sell it as a gaming PC, that kind of thing. So CIT haven't got the best name in the world for some of their components. But what surprised me about this one is it's actually a very cheap power supply. It's 500 watt rated, but it's 80 plus bronze. Now 80 plus bronze isn't actually an easy thing to get. You see a lot of power supplies on the market which just say that they're 80 plus rated, mostly whites, that kind of thing, at the lower end. But to have actually a bronze one for around about £25 in the UK market is actually quite something special. So where this power supply is aimed is at your kind of entry-level systems. Now I'm working on a kind of 10% budget of the power supply for the rest of the system. Now some of you are obviously going to think, no, that's way too low. But for low-end systems, something like an Athlon 200 GE, a A320 or a B450 motherboard, APUs, 8 to 16 gigs of RAM and an SSD, this is going to be absolutely fine. But also, because it's 80 plus bronze, it is going to give you a little bit of flexibility if you want to upgrade some of those components at a later date. So anyway, let's take a look at the box, look at the specs, and then we'll take it out and see what we actually get. So from the front of the box, as you can see, the Amazon label was attached straight onto the front of the box. So obviously the Amazon driver or the Amazon distribution people didn't think this was going to get nicked in transit because of what it is, and didn't even bother packaging it, just slapped a label on it and sent it out as it is. So unfortunately, this looks a bit of a mess on the front. But as you can see, ATV 500 Watt Pro from CIT, professional power supply. Features active PFC. It's multi-voltage, so anywhere between 100 and 240 volts. And it comes with a 2-year warranty, which obviously, if it really was an awful power supply, would they give a 2-year warranty? I'm not so sure. So on the side of the box, you've got the 80 plus bronze rating on there, and again, the power supply model. On the side, we've got the similar sort of thing, just tells you what it is, the connectors, etc., etc. And same on the back. So nothing particularly exciting going on. This is kind of no frills at all. So if we open up the box, inside we get greeted by this. So CIT professional power supply, high performance power supply, debatable, 80 plus bronze certified, which it says it on the box, so I've got no reason to disbelieve that. 80% or above efficiency for full around protection. I'm sure that should say all around protection, but anyway, whatever. That confused me. The ATV 500 Watt Pro offers a minimum of 85% performance at 50% load, ideal for system integrators. The ATV 500W or Watts Pro includes a 14cm cooling fan for excellent airflow and heat dissipation. And then it goes on to tell you about the connectors. So we've got one 20 plus 4 pin for your main ATX connection. We've got a single 4 plus 4 pin or 8 pin, which is for your supplemental CPU power. We've got 6 SATA ports, 2 4-pin Molex ports, and we've got 2 6 plus 2 PCI Express ports. So not actually a bad setup there, and should be fine for most budget or entry-level builds. So let's see what we actually get inside. So a nice addition is we get some cable ties and 4 screws to actually hold it in place. Is there much else in here? No, no instruction manual, no guides, no paperwork, no nothing. Literally the power supply in some bubble wrap. But saying that, it's managed to ship to me from Amazon with, well, apparently no damage whatsoever. So let's take a look and see what we get. So there we go, there is the power supply itself, and actually doesn't look too bad. You've got a satin matte black finish, as is quite common these days on power supplies. The 14cm fan in there, which actually does look quite big, and Obviously a bigger fan is going to move more air and keep things cool, and also be low noise, which we'll find out what the noise is like a little bit later when we do a build with this, which I am going to be doing in a follow-up video. So if you want to see that, make sure you click on the subscribe button, chime icon and all that kind of stuff, or just follow us on Facebook. So on the side here, we've got the labels saying CIT Professional Power Supply, 80 plus bronze rated. So AC input is 100 to 240 volts, 6 amps at 47 to 63 hertz. The DC output is 3.3 volts, 5 volts, 12 volts, and minus 12 volts, and plus 5 volts SB. Now on the 3 volts rail, we've got 15 amps. On 5 volt rail, we've got 15 amps. On the 12 volt rail, we've got 34 amps. Yeah, not too bad. Will be suitable for most builds. Maximum power output, as it says there, is 500 watts. So let's take a look at some of the cabling. Now the cabling actually was another thing which I found to be quite important. Now for me, when I'm doing a build, regardless of what type of build it is, whether it's a budget build, whatever it is, I do like to have it quite nicely cabled and for there to be no ketchup and mustard. So it was really nice to see a similar feature as with some of the other power supplies we've reviewed, the GameMax 500, also some of the Rio Toro ones. We've got these nice flat black cables which are very, very easy to use in a build and easy to cable manage. And we've got no ketchup and mustard here whatsoever, which is always a bonus in my mind. So let's take a look at the individual cables. Now the actual cables themselves actually don't look to be too shabby at all. They're not these really thin, horrible ones, and they do feel actually quite decent. So let's go through the individual connectors and see what we've got. Now actually looks like we've got some pretty decent lengths on here as well. So if you're building in a slightly larger case, then that shouldn't be a problem at all. Now let's see what we've got here. Let's try and unbundle this. So this is the first of our SATA connectors. So we've only got one SATA and one Molex on this connector. Now that's actually going to be perfect if you're using something like a GameMax case or something along those lines, which has got one of those separate RGB controllers. You've got the choice of a separate SATA or a Molex to power those kinds of devices, all on a separate cable, which is nice, so you can cable manage it nice and easily. So that's quite a nice feature already. And there we go, there's another SATA connector and another single Molex connector. So again, that can be tucked out of the way if you don't need it. Nice to have, that sort of separate section there. Now this is a much longer cable, so this has got 4 SATA connectors on there. All of those are SATA, there's no Molex on that one, so that's quite handy. And we've got here, this is our CPU Supplemental Power, the 2x4 pin, so that is molded as 1/8 at the moment, but that can be taken apart and gives you the 2 4 pins, so very nice indeed. And the next one is going to be the PCI Express one. Now I wasn't expecting to see 2 separate connectors on this, so this is kind of daisy chained. So you've got your PCI Express cable, which actually is quite long, and you've got the 6-pin stroke 8-pin there, so you can just disconnect that if you've got a 6-pin card or slide that on. And actually they do slide on quite nicely. That is another nice touch actually. A lot of power supplies these days just have ones where you kind of push it together, whereas that actually slides on and will hold in place. And if you've got a graphics card which requires 2 of these, then you've got them 2 daisy chained. So again, less cables to manage, so you can just fold that around, cable tie it out of the way, and it should look pretty neat. Again, I probably wouldn't recommend using a graphics card of a particular high value or wattage. Again, this is a budget power supply, let's not forget that. This is designed for those really budget builds, but say for something like, if you're putting together an older system with maybe a GTX 660 Ti, that kind of thing, or maybe a slightly older Radeon card, that kind of thing, you should be absolutely fine. Most modern cards you'll find will only use a single 8-pin or 6-pin for the lower end. So again, this should be absolutely fine. But again, we'll put this together in a system and see how it goes, and we'll test a few power supplies and see if we get any problems. The last cable on here is your 20 or 24-pin motherboard connector. So that again, that's on a nice sliding connector on the side, and actually doesn't want to come off, so that's going to hold itself nice in place. And all the cables are nice individual sleeve ones. Another nice thing to see about this actually is they're all kind of individual in this bundle, so you can cable tie them and crunch them all together, or you could flatten them out should you wish to. And again, pretty decent gauge cable as well. I'm moderately impressed. Again, for £25, I wasn't expecting particularly good power supply, and potentially it may not be, but we've got 80 plus bronze, we've got a 2-year warranty, it hasn't cost a lot, and it's going to be potentially in a budget system, so shouldn't have too much to worry about. Again, for those of you out there that are used to buying more high-end components, again, absolutely fine, no problem at all. If you want to spend more money on a power supply, feel free to do so. But for system builders or anyone who's on a really, really tight budget and you've not got a lot of money to spend and you're looking to spend kind of the 25 to 30 pounds mark on a power supply, I don't think you can do much better than this, especially when you factor in 80 plus bronze, blacked out flat cables and all the connections. I think it's actually not too bad at all. But again, we'll find out what it's like when we do our build, which you can see in a follow-up video. But in the meantime, this has been the CIT ATV 500 watt Pro power supply. I've been Mike, this is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching.